Dear students, I welcome you to this lecture. It is all about operant conditioning learning theory given by the famous American psychologist B.F. Skinner, who is a well-known behaviorist, author, inventor and a high-order social philosopher. Calling his approach to the study of behavior as radical behaviorism, he asserted that human free will is an illusion and that any human action is the result of the consequences of the same action. If the consequences are bad, there is a high chance that the action will not be repeated. However, if the consequences are good, the actions that led to it become more probable. Unlike cognitive scientists and less rigid behaviorists, B.F. Skinner, as a radical behaviorist, does not accept private events such as thinking, perception, and unobservable emotions as causes of an organism's behavior. For Skinner, the terms referring to mental states, for example, drive, belief, intent, these are the vague terms, ambiguous and unnecessary to the understanding of behavior. For him, the inner workings of the mind and the body were a black box, inaccessible to direct observation. This point of view was shared by all behaviorists, but Skinner went further, arguing that even if thoughts and even other mental states could be studied, they would have no real value in explaining behavior. Instead, the environment in which a response occurs, the response itself and the response consequences are all that are necessary to understand behavior. By insisting that mental states are both inaccessible to study and irrelevant to understanding behavior, Skinner was advocating a point of view which has come to be called radical behaviorism. Skinner coined the term operant conditioning, replacing Thorndike's instrumental conditioning and renaming classical conditioning as respondent conditioning. Skinner used the term operant to refer to any active behavior that operates upon the environment to generate consequences. Skinner referred to imitated behaviors as operant responses, which are contingent upon or depend upon a response emitted by the organism. The study of the response elicited by classical conditioning is less important complex behavior than the study of responses which are not reflexively or mechanically evoked. Skinner held that the later response is evoked by operant conditioning. Operant conditioning is defined as the use of consequences to modify the occurrence and form of behavior. To put it simply, behavior that is followed by pleasant consequences tends to be repeated and thus learned. Behavior that is followed by unpleasant consequences tends not to be repeated and thus not learned. Operant conditioning by B.F. Skinner was developed by him at Harvard University in 1938 and has been considered to be a popular approach for influencing behavior. Although the model was originally applied to animal learning, like rats and pigeons, it was later commonly applied in educational settings. The model involves the operations of positive reinforcement, negative reinforcement, shaping, generalization, extinction, etc. It was at Harvard that Skinner became interested in studying human behavior in an objective and scientific way. He developed what he referred to as an operant conditioning apparatus, which later became known as Skinner box or Skinner chamber. The device was a chamber that contained a bar or key that an animal could press in order to receive food, water, or some other forms of reinforcement. He also invented the cumulative recorder, a device that recorded responses as a slow food line. The device also allowed Skinner to see that